The Govee Floor Lamp 2 is the Matter-compatible successor to the original Govee Lyra, and it's brighter, better, and boasts some really cool extra features. It retails for $150, but you'll find frequent deals. It's only available in black, and it's the smaller sibling of the only available in silver Govee Floor Lamp 2 Pro, which we'll also be taking a look at next month, once they add Matter support to a firmware update. I'm James Bruce, you're watching MatterAlpha.com. Let's take an in-depth look at the cool features that the Govee Floor Lamp 2 offers. Now, before we get into this, let's briefly compare the new Floor Lamp 2 to the original and hugely successful Govee Lyra floor lamp. There's a couple of changes worth mentioning. The first, of course, is Matter support, meaning that you can control some basic functionality of this through Apple HomeKit, Google Home, or Amazon Alexa, or all three at once. The second is a little visual flair in the base. There's some LEDs in there that can be controlled separately to the main light. Now, it's not a huge feature. Some people might even want to disable it, but it kind of looks neat. It's also brighter at 1725 lumens versus the original 1500. So the Govee Floor Lamp 2 uses an RGB IC WW LED arrangement, and if that's just a bunch of letters to you, let me explain briefly. RGB means it can do red, green, blue, or any combination thereof for 16 million different possible colours. IC means integrated circuit, but that probably doesn't mean anything to you either. It just means that each LED or segment of LEDs has its own controller. So some scenes, as you can see here, will show multiple colours at once, or a gradient, rather than just the whole tower showing the exact same colour. You could have a rainbow or a fade. So you might also think of IC to mean individually controllable, since that makes more sense than integrated circuit. Lastly, the WW bit means white and warm white. Technically that would be WWW, but I think that's already taken. Normally, pure RGB LEDs struggle to make a nice white because it's just combining the R and the G and the B on full to make, well, fake white. This includes separate pure and warm white LEDs, giving you a full scale of bright shades of white to suit your preference or time of day. Considering this is a 60-inch tall floor lamp in a reasonably small box, there is a little construction to do. You get a pack of screws and a screwdriver, as well as some joining plates, which you use to join the three sections onto the base. It's a little bit fiddly, as you can see, but not complicated. After you've done that, you should connect up the flexible LED strip to the base, gently shove the wiring into the base through the little hole, and then push the rest of the silicon into the aluminium profile sections. I'd suggest doing both ends so you don't end up with an excess or a bit missing because it's squished or stretched. And once you've done the ends, finish up the middle bits. Simple enough, then plug it in and have a quick test. Now, you do get a remote control with it too. It's magnetic to the remote holder, which snaps onto the main profile section anywhere. So you can try out some of the basic single color modes or sound reactive modes that are directly sort of programmed into the device without needing to add it to the app yet. But once you are ready to add it to the app, open up your Govee Home app and log in to your account if you haven't already. Then go to the plus button in the top right. It'll be automatically recognized over Bluetooth. You can carry on from there. Now, even if you're planning to use this only over Matter, you still need to initiate the pairing from within the app. It's slightly frustrating that you can't actually copy the code directly or scan your own smartphone screen, so I ended up taking a screenshot, then using my iPhone's text recognition ability to copy out the code and do the usual Matter setup steps. But again, as I mentioned with my Neon Rope Light 2 review, it would have been nice to have that printed on a piece of paper like most Matter products do. And as ever, the Matter control that you're given is very limited to on, off, or brightness and uniform color selection. Just because that's all that the Matter specification offers in order to have the same support for every color lighting device out there. So it has to strip down the features to get something shared by all, basically. You get the same control on this as you would with, say, a Philips Hue single color bulb. Matter is great for turning something on and off quickly or checking on the status, but ultimately you aren't going to get access to the advanced scenes and dynamic music modes or Govee DreamView, which I'll demonstrate later on, all of which are very impressive. Anyway, once you've added it to the app, there's no further configuration like you have with the custom neon shape. You don't have to scan anything. It's a fairly simple device after all. Now, as I mentioned, the Govee app contains a ton of features that you won't find elsewhere with other generic RGB-IC LED strips or floor lamps or otherwise. It is, however, a bit of a hot mess, and it's not always clear how to access some of those features or configure them, beyond the basics like changing scenes. So let's gloss over the scene changing for now. That's easy. You'll find hundreds of dynamic scenes there, some of which I think are much better than others, but that's easy to choose. You also get a simple music mode, where the Floor Lamp 2 will react to whatever it hears. Again, there's a few different options here. The color tab allows you to literally paint each segment with whatever color you want, perhaps even a different color on the base. Nothing too complicated there. DIY is where the difficulty ramps up a notch. This lets you create dynamic scenes by choosing a basic pattern type or a combination thereof, setting up the colors, adjusting the parameters, such as direction, speed, etc. It takes a bit of experimentation, but if you have a specific effect in mind, this is probably what you'll want to spend some time learning and playing around with. Then we get on to DreamView. Now, DreamView is essentially a way to group Govee products together and have them react in a coherent way or make them part of a bigger system. But this encompasses a few different types of DreamView that they offer. The Floor Lamp 2 is actually capable of being a music DreamView center or controller, which means it in turn can control other devices. So for instance, in this case, I've got a neon rope light 2 on the wall, and that can be controlled for music reactivity by the Floor Lamp 2. Even though they both offer music reactive modes, if you want them to react together cohesively, you can use one as the controller and it controls the other. Now, even more impressive, I think, is Movie DreamView. The easiest way to demonstrate this then is with the Govee desktop app for Windows. That can act as a DreamView controller, and while it's called Movie DreamView, it actually works with anything on your PC, including gaming. So using the desktop app, you tell it where your light is located around your monitor, and that then extends the colors from your desktop to the light, similar to what a Philips Ambilight TV might do. The desktop app isn't the only DreamView controller. You also have, say, the Govee AI Gaming Sync Box, which works with an HDMI signal, or something like the TV Backlight 3, which watches your TV screen using a webcam. And these are by far the most impressive use of the Govee lights, I think. If you had two of these either side of your TV or gaming monitor, it would look absolutely stunning. And I'll show you that once I have the Pro model set up next month as well. Obviously, it's a bit weird with just one, which is why I'm really only showing you one view of the screen from an angle. But if you have two or a whole room full of things, it's going to look incredible. And it's also worth mentioning that this is compatible with Razer Chroma, which is similar to DreamView mode, but also has sort of game effects. So are there any downsides to the Floor Lamp 2? I guess because the base is plastic and not metal or, I don't know, ceramic, it's not quite heavy enough to be stable on deep carpets. So if you have a shag pile carpet, baby, yeah, like we do in the bedroom, then it topples over and you have to sort of squish it down to make it stay upright. It's a very minor problem that won't affect many people. It's perfectly stable on wooden floors, tiles, short carpets, but it's something you might be concerned about, particularly with small children or pets. Other than that, it only comes in black, which might not suit your decor. And if I'm honest, I don't think the light ring on the base adds much. I know it's optional, I know you don't have to use it, you can disable it, but it's only going to be visible in a few situations. I mean, I basically never look at the floor. Down there, it's where all the cables are. So, it's a bit of visual flair, which I think sort of overly complicates the app interface and probably wasn't needed. Still, as a package, it's a fantastic addition to the Govee line, especially for people who want some neat DreamView effects and Matter compatibility from their smart lighting, but are perhaps renting and can't, stick neon ropes on the wall. It pairs really well with the existing DreamView systems and the desktop app. It's brilliant for party lighting or just subdued ambience. Govee are one of the few lighting manufacturers that actually connect up their systems together. They can be paired to provide synchronized displays for music or movie watching. You can get generic RGB strips a lot cheaper, and some which might offer patterns but don't have nearly the same feature set as Govee or the ability to sync up cohesively. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you to Govee for shooting this over for review. You've been watching Matter Alpha. I'm James Bruce. Be sure to hit like if you appreciated this review and consider subscribing. Head on over to matteralpha.com for more reviews, tutorials, and news on all things Matter. And I'll see you in the next one.